Happy Halloween, and in celebration of Halloween, I'm going to be ranking all 11 Halloween films. I'm not going to waste any more time, so let's rank them. Number 11, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. This is by far the most forgettable Halloween film out of all of them. It's also the weirdest. It's such a bizarre Halloween film, and I hate it. I really hate this film. Halloween has a lot of garbage films in the franchise, but this is by far my least favorite. First of all, the kills in this film are awful. Not for a horror film, but because they're so bloody and gory. Halloween has never been about the gore, and this film is just flooded with gore. And the ghost mom stuff, it's terrible. I don't understand it. I don't understand how both Myers are haunted by her. Because in the final scene, Laurie starts talking to, the ghost mom and interacting with her, and it's like, how does she see her? And also Michael sees her? And just any scene with the ghost mom is just kind of ridiculous, and I really don't like it. It reminds me a lot of Curse of Michael Myers, and that's never a good thing. And Loomis goes in between being cool and then unlikable. He's so, itching for fame in this film, and it's kind of annoying. I get it's part of his arc, but it's like he does the same thing he did in the last film, promoting Michael Myers and his story. It's just ridiculous and so stupid. And the filmmaking physically hurts my soul. But on a positive note, Tyler Mane is great, and Scout Taylor Compton is a lot better in this film than she was in the last one. Also, Sheriff Chucky and Danielle Harris are a nice surprise. Alright, that's it. Let's get to number 10. Number 10, Halloween Resurrection. Most of you probably have this one as the worst, but for me, it's the second to worst. But still, it's awful. Strangely enough, it's not the characters that offend me the most, it's the filmmaking. Half the kills and, a bunch of shots are done with this, camera, this first-person type of camera because they're recording in the house for Freddy's big surprise, but it's just so poorly done. It looks very low budget, and it feels cheaper than the original Halloween. Laurie Strode dies in a really stupid way in the opening, and like most people, it really annoys me. And the main characters are just so forgettable. The only one I remember is really Buster Rhymes. And I don't remember at least half of the kills. Also, Michael's mask is just horrible. On the bright side, I guess there was a couple funny lines by Buster Rhymes.
Trick or treat, mother.
And, Jamie Lee Curtis gave a nice performance. Number 10, Halloween 5. This movie is so bad. The Man in Black is literally just thrown in there to cover plot holes, and they didn't even know who he was until 6. Just really poorly thought out and made. Kills are kind of bland and forgettable, and they completely ruin the character of Rachel. Which is sad, because she's a character I actually really liked from Part 4. Also, Jamie Lloyd is a mute for the majority of the film. It's so stupid. Loomis is the only good thing in this film I can think of. I mean, Michael's performance is fine. His mask looks awful, but his performance is fine. Jamie and Michael have a weird past, have a connection now where they can wake each other up. It's so stupid, it makes absolutely no sense. It's also a kind of bland-looking movie. And again, I don't really remember any of the kills. There's also some very reckless filmmaking, like when Danielle Harris is trying to get up and he keeps stabbing through the bar. Yeah, that was a real knife. So really, she was kind of in actual danger there, and it was just really recklessly shot. Number 9, Rob Zombie Halloween. This used to be my least favorite, but now I've bumped it up 2 notches, so congratulations, Halloween 2007 fans. I really hate this movie. Way too much gore and Rob Zombie. Now, Rob Zombie, I don't know much about him other than he's a film director, and he's made some pretty bad films. This is one of his worst. The dialogue is absolutely atrocious. I've seen it in a lot of Rob Zombie films. These people don't talk like people. I don't know. They just kind of talk overly vulgar, and I don't know anyone that actually talks like this. They don't feel like people I can relate to, and the gore is completely unnecessary. Positives, Tyler Mane, I guess. That's about it. Loomis is trying, but he has 2 characters, just like in the second one, where he goes from being unbearable to actually pretty good. There's a couple decent scares, but again, they're mostly just terrible kills. Also, a lot of times, the camera will shake while someone's running to the point of where I can't tell what's even going on. Number 7, Season of the Witch. I hate this movie a little more than I should because I actually really like the idea they were going for with an anthology Halloween series. Unfortunately, this film was so bad that they kind of just ditched that idea and went right back to Michael Myers. The characters are kind of eh. I don't really like any of them that much. The cinematography is fine. There's some couple pretty cool kills and a lot of memorable moments, but just overall a kind of blah film for me. It's a film I don't watch that much and don't remember very much other than a few moments. The main relationship is also not that good. It's a very frustrating film because of how bad it actually is, and the idea of an anthology Halloween series is really good. It's just, this movie was really bad at showcasing that idea, so it makes it really frustrating. Number 6, Halloween 6. A very weird film in the entry, but a much more memorable one than I think the previous that we've talked about. For one thing, Michael Myers is actually pretty good in this film. I like the guy who plays him, George P. Wilbur. He did a great job. Also Loomis, he's pretty great. Paul Rudd, he's fun. And the main final girl, who's the mother of this guy, yeah, she's fine. I don't really remember her. The Thorn stuff is ridiculous and really terrible, but I mean, the theatrical cut did a horrible job explaining it, while the producer's cut did a much better job at explaining it. The kills are a little too bloody for a Halloween film also. The story's really bad and the direction's pretty bad, but it's overall just very bland, kind of mediocre. Number 5, Halloween 4. It's okay. I think it's kind of overrated. I know a lot of people love it. Me personally, I think it's okay. It's alright. I don't have a problem watching it. It's fine. Danielle Harris gave a spectacular performance along with Donald Pleasance. Also, there's some solid kills. Also, I like the character of Rachel a lot. But it's a kind of bland and forgettable film. And it gets kind of boring at some points. The acting's kind of good, but again, it's kind of boring and very forgettable. It's overall very okay. I wouldn't mind watching it again. Number 4. Are you ready for a hot take, folks? 'Cause my number 4 is Halloween 2018. So I actually just rewatched this movie, and it was about the same as I remember it. It's fine. It's not amazing, and it's kind of disappointing and frustrating. First, let me just say, there's a lot of things I love about this movie. The filmmaking is absolutely spectacular. I really love that one-shot sequence where Michael goes to the house, kills the old lady, and then walks in and, kills that lady behind the blinds. That's all great. I love that sequence. And I love a lot of other sequences in the film, like Loomis's message saying they need to kill Michael. All of that was great. Jamie Lee Curtis gives the best performance she's given in the entire franchise. And James Jude Courtney did a truly fantastic job as Michael Myers. There's also some nice kills. The cinematography on display is absolute perfection. And I also really like the homages with Laurie becoming, like Michael, and Michael becoming like Laurie towards the end, and also in the beginning when she's stalking her granddaughter. And here's where the hot take comes in. There is way too much going on in this movie, way too many characters. The granddaughter was not needed here. She should not have been in this movie. She is just there to be the high school character that Michael can chase around a little bit. That's it, because we have to have a high school character in our horror movies, don't we? And this is probably going to be my hottest take in the video, but I don't think this feels like a horror movie. It just kind of feels like an action movie. Guys, I watched this movie at 11 p.m. last night, and the credits started rolling at like 12:42 a.m. And you know what I did right after the credits started rolling? I went straight to bed, and I didn't really care. It feels like an action thriller starring Jamie Lee Curtis instead of a horror movie starring Jamie Lee Curtis. Also, half the characters I just don't like. I can never really fear for these characters because I don't like any of them. I don't care about Vicky. I'm not connected to her. I haven't, watched her for like an hour like I did in the original. I don't really know this character or this dude. I don't care if Michael kills the granddaughter or Vicky the babysitter because I don't know any of these characters or really like them that much. I guess I kinda know Allison, but not well enough for me to care for her personally or care about her. And of course, I can't go without mentioning Judy Greer. Now, I haven't seen every Judy Greer movie, but this is by far the worst performance I've ever seen her give. This is such a flat performance, and it's horrible.
I've spent my entire life trying to get over the paranoia and neuroses that she has projected on me.
I used to shoot a gun, and I didn't like it, and I'm reading off a cue card right now.
And you know what? I know everyone wants me to trash that twist because it's literally what everybody does, even the fans of this movie. But instead of doing that, I'm gonna play a clip for you that sums up my reaction to this scene perfectly. Number 3, Halloween 2. We're finally at the good ones. Laurie Strode isn't in a lot of this movie. A lot of this movie, she's just kind of asleep, and that's kind of annoying. But other than that, I'd say it's good, it's decent. Well, definitely one of the better ones, too. Loomis is awesome. I love Donald Pleasance as this character. He's great, and a lot of the kills are fine, but there's way too much blood, especially compared to the first one. Dick Warlock does a great job as Michael Myers in this film. Again, the kills are a bit too bloody, but still, he does a great job with his movements and his body language. Really good. I like that the whole movie is in a creepy hospital. It's a good location for horror movies. Also, the cinematography and lighting is an improvement on the first one, probably because of the obviously bigger budget. I think that ending with Michael and Loomis and the blood coming out of Michael's mask was also pretty great and nearly perfect and would have been a great death for the both characters. However, I'm glad it wasn't because H2O has a much better death for Michael in my opinion. More on this in a few minutes. It was very creative, and the movie as a whole was pretty creative and suspenseful. Also, I really like the idea that Michael and Laurie are siblings, and it's executed kinda mediocrely. It could have been executed better and is obviously just kind of done in this film instead of being implied in the first one. But still, I actually like the twist, and I think it works for these two characters and really solidifies their bond, and I like it a lot. Number 2, Halloween H2O. I know, you're all freaking out on me, but hear me out. I don't adore this movie. This isn't my favorite movie in the franchise, obviously, and I don't, adore it. It's just, I think, a really good movie. I like it a lot. However, I do have some problems with it. For one thing, it is kind of odd in the franchise because it's so focused on comedy, obviously influenced by Scream. I'm not overly fond of the idea, but it's executed pretty well, unlike Halloween 2018, which had a decent idea, but it's executed horribly.
Oh, man. I got peanut butter on my penis.
Shut the fuck up!
There's a lot of moments that refer to Scream, to the point of where it's kind of copying it, obviously a reference to Casey Becker. That's a bit too much, but I still really like the movie. Jamie Lee Curtis gives a great performance, and the guy playing Michael honestly isn't that bad. I forgot his name, but he does a decent job. It's just, his mask is horrible and one of the worst in the series, and that CGI mask is just atrocious. But back to positives, the comedy does work, even if I'm not a huge fan of the idea. It's executed really well. The kills are fine. Sometimes maybe there's a bit much blood, but it's honestly pretty tame compared to a lot of the other ones, even Halloween 18 or Halloween 2. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I care a lot more about these characters than I did in Halloween 2018. And the final showdown in the school and in the graveyard is way more satisfying than the house fight in 2018. It's very suspenseful and, again, a ton of fun. H2O is overall a lot of fun with a really great ending for Michael, and honestly, this should have been the end of the Halloween franchise. That would have been great. I love that ending where Michael dies and then Resurrection retcons it. It's so stupid. But yeah, H2O, it was fun. Jamie Lee Curtis gives a great performance. Michael has some solid kills. And that ending was pretty great. And the school setup was a lot of fun and really creative. And the finale is a lot of fun and creative. Some couple stupid things, way too influenced by Scream. But it's overall a lot of fun and should have been the end of the Halloween franchise. Number 1, Halloween. You all knew this movie was going at the top. I mean, what else would go at the top? I made an entire video talking about how great this movie is, so go check that out, link in the description. But I'll try to sum up my thoughts pretty quickly here like I have the rest of the video. It's a lot of fun, really good, it really defined the genre. The kills are creative and really well done. The film as a whole is really creative and very well done. Jamie Lee Curtis gives a pretty solid performance. Donald Pleasance gives a fantastic performance. Nick Castle does a great job as Michael Myers. It is probably the best Michael Myers of the series. The acting is phenomenal. Screenplay is so simple, and that's perfect. There's a ton of character. I love this film. And that's it, kids. I hope this really made your Halloween better. I hope you're having a happy Halloween. I hope you're having fun trick-or-treating or handing out candy, watching a scary movie, whatever you're doing. And remember,
Trick or treat, motherfucker.